So today we are figuring out what's not going to work. That being, we walked around the elementary school and got about a half mile in, and Ziva wasn't loving it today. So, since she's kind of been slowing down, in yesterday's video I talked about my concerns on her end, I put her in the car and tried to walk the other two a little further. It did not go well at all. Gidge and Taz kept looking back all stressed out, and of course they've gotten gypped on the on those situations before when she gets to go somewhere and they don't. So they were all stressed out when they were walking and she wasn't, and she got pissed because she was in the car and they weren't, and she peed on my seat. So that's clearly not going to work. So I don't know what we're going to do it now. Because she doesn't want to walk as far, probably can't walk as far even as they can and want to. You know, they're 7 and 8, soon to be 8 and 9, and she's 12. So I don't know what I'm going to do here. I think it's nice today, so I'm thinking what I'm going to do is, since Gidget is like all, I parked under the light, she doesn't like him. Since she is, well, has way more energy than the rest of them, and she's younger, and she was excessively ball obsessed there for a long time. And so she still is, but because she runs a lot more than the others do, I think I'm going to bring her back with me when I try to skate. So, God only knows how that's going to go. It's like 50 degrees today. It's nice over here. There's not a whole lot of puddles everywhere. So I think I can make it work. Oh, please leave it. Please leave it. No, there's a truck. Okay, backing in over there. Leave it. This might not be the best spot for videos, because before I did one, I was texting somebody. No. Leave it. Leave it. Tell Gidge they're not going to bother her, but they already bother her. She's just watching. Okay. So, yeah, I got to figure that out. But my plan is to attempt to bring her back when I skate, and it won't be a big one. It won't be difficult by any means, but see how she does with that. She has never gotten to hang out in the car while I have been getting geared up, so we shall see how that goes. Okay, we've relaxed. In other news, that damn box of Christian CDs is proving to be the bane of my existence. And kind of knew that there was the potential for it to be just population that would be interested, of course. It has not let me down. Oh crap, we're gonna have to move. Okay. Yeah, they got out of the truck and had scooters, so they were getting ready to be a problem. I thought they were going to the playground since I parked by the playground, but no. Scooters in the parking lot. So, anyway, stupid box of CDs. I have had a few people interested in it. Keeping in mind, I put the price down as $30 for this box of CDs for somebody to come pick up. It has been so fucking complicated. The first person asked if I could bring them to Lafayette. It's like, I'm never in Lafayette. And he's like, well, I'm never in Indy. It's like, well, then maybe we'll figure something else out another time. He got kind of put on pause because then there ended up being this situation where I was going I was potentially going to be going past Lafayette. That fell through. So, and that was going to be to take a tank to somebody who was talking about paying me for gas to take it to her. But since, that involved me driving somewhere, it's like, well, I'm not doing this. I will have to take part of the payment ahead of time. I understand they're not going to want to pay the full amount ahead of time, but I need evidence that if I take it, I'm not going to get there and be screwed, and they're not going to want to just pay it all and then assume that, I just want the money and run, right? So I have no problem at all working with people. But those stupid box of CDs, man. Okay, the tank deal fell through, and the only reason I had talked to him about maybe going past that way is because the destination of where the tank would have been going and the elephant I still need to pick up in Kokomo was pretty much right past Lafayette. So in that situation, I wouldn't have cared. I asked the guy, I reposted the thing, and then I asked the guy if he was ever in Kokomo, and he said, not often, but more so than Indy. It's like, well, okay. So I tried to set up a couple different times, and he said the big thing was he just had to make sure he didn't have any appointments that day. So, fine, whatever. I set up a couple options. The first one didn't work because he had appointments. The second one, he said, was iffy, and then he never said another thing to me about anything. So he's just booted off the list, right? Because he's obviously not that interested. Another lady sends me a message to see if... She sends me a message. She was local. So she says, will you take 25? I said, I will take 25. And she comes back with, my husband told me to ask if you'll take 20. I said, I will not take 20. It's like, that is not fucking how that works. It's like, you come to me with 20 and I say 25 and then bam, we're good. Or perhaps we can even adjust around that, right? Whatever. But no. So she drops off because I won't go lower on this box of CDs that's got, I counted them last night, it has 101 freaking CDs in it. A good chunk of them are brand stinking new. Some of them have little autographs on them. I mean, there's not big people or anything, but little local groups that, put a little autographs on or whatever. And then there were a few that were I'd listened the crap out of them, right? So they're a little banged up. So to me, $30 seems like a really good deal to get this box of stuff I don't want anymore out of my space. Not to that population, though. And another girl want me to send her the whole thing to ship them to her. And I said I will have to look into what it costs to ship them. So then I had to get a box that would be shippable, right? And load that up, take it to the post office, and have them weigh it to see how much it would be to her zip code. And she's like, not even an hour and a half away. And I think that's the irritating part, is most of these people have not been more than an hour and a half away. If they wanted them that badly, they could come get them. But, yeah. So, of course, when I told her that shipping, get this, started at $33.30, because that was literally what number the post office gave me for starting amount. $33.30. 333. So I told her that was making the price jump up, because I had to put in effort to do this stuff anyway, to go get it checked out. And then it kind of figured it was going to fall through anyway. And it's like, now you're looking at like $70, right? Yeah. So of course she wasn't interested at that point. Another dude, I think he was right at an hour away, wanted me to bring them to him. And I was like, no, I have no reason to go there, but I go to Greenwood pretty regularly. If you are really that interested, we could set something up. And I set up, okay, I was not going to make a special trip to Greenwood for this. It had to be a time where I was setting up a freaking appointment to do platelets or something. And then there's like the before time or the after time. But I can adapt that to work with people if they actually are interested. I did it before with a freaking sweatshirt. I have no problem meeting somebody if I have another reason for being there. But I'm not going to go a 30-minute drive just to meet you to not get anything else out of it. I'm not. So that dude, okay, I sent him the message saying I could meet him in Greenwood sometime, and he was like, cool, I can do that. And then he said, well, the first thing I think was, I wish I'd seen this sooner. I was just in Greenwood the other day. It's like, well, that's irrelevant then, isn't it? So, yeah, so I left that one. He comes back with trying to figure out the next time he'll be in Greenwood, and okay, that's fine. It's give and take. We're not just only catering to you on this. This is a $30 box of CDs that, quite frankly, I just want out of my space. And there's a really good chance at this point in time that I'm just going to go chuck it in a trash can somewhere just to get it out of my space. Yeah, there's a few things in there I could just like put in the burn pile even. Definitely not above that one either. Yeah. So I told that dude, I was like, look, I have an appointment at this time. And then he didn't say anything, didn't acknowledge it at all. And then that ended up falling through on my end because I got there and my hemoglobin was low, so I couldn't donate. But he had never said anything about that one anyway. I said, so I'm going to have to reschedule, but you know, he never got back to me. So it's like, okay, you're done. No more. That is, obviously, you're not that interested, right? So, then is the dude that pops up yesterday, right before I go to skate. And he's like, can I just tell you what CDs I want? And it's like, I will work with you if you are actually serious about coming to get them, right? And then, no, it became a big thing. Oh my God, it was so stupid. First off, I send him pictures of all the CDs that are in this box, right? So he can go through and see which ones he would want. I have no problems working with people. I don't, okay? But I have limits. So the first thing he says is something about, okay, he starts listing off CDs and says, can you tell me who plays the instruments on these? And it's like, fucking look it up, dude. No, look it up. And I told him to send me a list of the CDs that he wanted, and I would, I wasn't gonna do that. I wasn't. But as far as, it's windy. We're on alert now. We have 2 windows cracked. Thank you. It's okay. I hope it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. I do not see anybody around us. I don't know what they heard, so hopefully it was just the wind, because it was a windy gust, right? So anyway, CDs. So the guy starts asking me questions and sending me a list of things. It's like, look, I'm skating. I will get back to you when I'm done. Well, then while I was skating, had a little bit of a concern with Ziva again, and my mom called me, and so I stopped skating. And it was one of those things, I had like a little under a mile and a half left that I wanted to do that day. But since there was something wrong with my dog, I was not going to continue skating, right? So she said she was really concerned about her. Ziva had her ears flat back on her head and was just standing there shaking and looked stressed. And so I stopped skating and went home. And since I was on the phone with my mom, I had looked at my app. I forgot to shut the app off when I got back to the car. I hate it when I do that. Usually it's just the dog walking app that I've had issues with that. But normally I don't get interrupted with a emergency while I'm skating. So, yeah. So, I go home. She was better when I got there, and she was all excited to see me, but then she was still kind of shaking and looked uncomfortable. So, I ended up going back and laying with her on the floor for a while. And I think there's something, okay, I got this canned food a while back that I think she must have some kind of sensitivity to. I think that's why Taz has all at once been gassy here lately, because he wasn't real bad on that for a while. He had a span where he's awful with it, and then we seemed to get on a happy diet for the food and all that stuff, and then it seemed to went away. Hey. So I think it's the food, because he's been gassy. And see, this is the 6th can of this stuff, because I just bought like a pack of it, and they were loving every bit of it until the past few days. So I don't know if it's the specific can, but they're not getting that later. But I mean, there's not much left in it, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's caused Peppy or Gidge any issues at all, so I don't know on that end. But Taz is gassy, and Ziva was kind of like, her belly was real solid and kind of bloated looking, and I laid on the floor with her and rubbed her belly for a while, and she did fart a couple times, so that seemed to help. But yeah. So I don't know what to do with that. But obviously they're not getting the can today. And they're going to have to wait, I think, because I think I'm going to try to skate with Gidge before I feed them, because obviously I can't feed her and then run her. That would be a very bad idea. Yeah. So anyway, I got sidetracked on the CD deal and went home, was laying with my dog, and then took a shower. When I was out of the shower, I waited until she was feeling better. But after I got out of the shower, I saw that I had a message from this guy saying, "Are you done skating yet?" And it's like, well, I had a family emergency, but I will work on the CD situation. And yeah. And he said something about wanting 98. It's like, dude, there's 101 in this box. If you want 98 fucking CDs, I'm not splitting them up. That's just, no. I'm not doing that. That would be more of a, what don't you want? Let me chuck that in a freaking, I don't know. Anyway. Okay. So I said, you want 98 CDs? And he never responded. So I left that alone, did other things, went to bed, did some writing, then went to sleep. And just kind of let that go since he didn't respond back after that. Today he says, no, 50 or 40 CDs. So, I said, you want 50 or 40 CDs? And he's like, probably 50. And I said, you do realize, I said the $30 at the top of this post is irrelevant at this point in time because you are wanting me to put forth all this work. I said the $30 was just to offload it quickly. I said, you are looking at shipping. You are looking at time and effort because this is proving to be a pain in my ass. And then he says, oh, no, I don't want them anymore then. It's like, fuck you. I said, off to Goodwill they go, and I left the group. Oh, my God. So, yeah, that's where that is. And stupid thing is, I was in a pretty good mood today, all things considered, until I had to piss around with this dude again. And he was like, oh, no, I think he was going to want me to do all this for just $30, less than $30 really, because he didn't want all the CDs. Yeah. This fucking box, honestly, I might pitch it in the trash somewhere because I am so over. That box is the bane of my existence. Why? Because the interested population thinks that you're supposed to cater to them because that's the whole thing. That's why, we're not supposed to have boundaries, right? We're supposed to let these religious types get in there with their bad energy and manipulate us to doing all sorts of shit and then just cater to their whims because that's how they were raised to think that things are supposed to go, right? And if you don't, then it's because they didn't like Jesus either, so you should expect that they're going to treat you badly. Stupid sinners. Fully embrace my heathendom at this point in time. And twos. Yeah. What a waste. What a fucking waste. Yeah. There's a good chance that it's going in the trash. I don't know. I'll get back to you on that one. I am kind of done working with that population on it, though. Like, I could theoretically donate it to a youth group somewhere, but see, like, yeah. Could. Yeah, could. We'll just leave that at that. Especially, my whole video yesterday was all upset about things going on with my dog, and then I don't want to piss around with that shit anymore. I'm just done. So, how I'm done, I'll let you know later. We'll see how I'm feeling when I get home. Yeah, but it's what it is. Whatever it is, I don't know. The bonus is, I did spend a little meditation time last night, and I did spend more today, and it's feeling pretty good overall. I feel like, okay, yesterday I was crying and all upset about everything with Ziva, and it's whenever that time comes around, it's gonna hurt. But I also realize I can't just obsess over the whole thing for however long we have left. I'm gonna have to figure out how to make all three of them at least somewhat happy to some degree. I mean, maybe we just do shorter walks around the side lot again. I don't know. And when we do those, she always starts pulling back to the house anyway. It's like, well, we're out here, but we're this close to the house, so why do we need to keep going out here when we could be over there in the house? So, yeah. I don't know. I guess I'll just have to rely on some divine direction for an assist on that end. But it's going to be tricky trying to take Gidge too, because like I said, Ziva's a spite peer, and she has peed on my bed before, and I've thought we've been over that, but I'm not so sure that wouldn't be the thing that started it again. So yeah. But she did not appreciate getting left in the car by herself, even though she could see us the entire time. But I don't know what to do. Yeah. Other than the boundaries thing, that's all I know. keep the boundaries all set and good. And see, I kind of talked to my mom a little bit yesterday about the whole deal with Ziva. It's like, that one's gonna hurt more than Chance, and Chance hurt pretty good, but she's been with me through a lot more, and you know, my mom, it's so frustrating to say this, but it is what it is. I feel like on the one hand, she's wanting to be able to feel sorry for me on this thing, right? But at the same time, I feel like there's this other level, or like this deeper layer of, but then what are you gonna do? Then you're really gonna be stuck here or whatever. And it's like, that's what I don't like. That's why I've never liked this situation, and I've always struggled in it. Is because there's always that underlying layer of okay, so I watched this Nordic Light tarot reading earlier, and it was another one of those that I was drawn to all three piles, right? And the first one was the biggest for the current moment, and so obviously I started there, and it was talking about there's a situation in which you have a bunch of toxic people around you, and it's like they enjoy seeing you when you're down, and you know, being able to manipulate your energy and this kind of stuff. And it's like, well, yep, that's my house. And everybody in my family, quite frankly. I mean, my brother's an exception, but I think he's still kind of getting pulled around at the energetic level, and he's allowing it to happen. And since I had that thing come up the other day where I was realizing I was doing for him what I had been doing for my mom before, and it's like, nope, done with all of that. Done with it. Stop it. I actually haven't talked to him in a few days. So I think we talked the day after I did that video. But I think that's been it so far. And there for a while we were talking every day. And I haven't even said that anything's been going on with Ziva. It's like, this is... Hey. It's like, this is for me to figure out right now, right? And I don't know what's gonna happen. Just, oh God, I'm ready for something else. Yeah. But it's like, I feel like all these things are coming up to show me where there are still things that I need to work on, like, you know, where there's still leaks in the energy, if you will, and, you know, the potential for people to come back and try to manipulate my energy So I'm catering to their bullshit again, right? So that's like the big strong pull for throwing that box of CDs in the trash. Yeah. But like, okay, so what I commented on that video, and it's like what I was thinking. Oh boy, somebody playing tennis. So far we haven't noticed. I just heard the car. So I commented on the video that, oh, Gidget found it, heard it. Leave it. Leave it. They're like, I don't even know what I'm leaving yet. Anyway, so I commented on the video that it's like, I'm having this deal with the dog currently, and I feel like it's serving this other level because it's like, energetically, I can feel like my parents are all excited about the possibility of something going wrong for me, because in my sadness, they can latch right onto that, onto my energy and pull me back into their toxicity. So they think. And so I've had to kind of detach from the idea of being stressed out about whatever she's doing or not doing, and that in and of itself is hard. But just turning it back over to the universe, because it's just a cycle of life, and she helped me get through a very difficult time. And so I'm going to try to not piss her off in these last days, however much I got with her. But also respect the fact that it is a cycle. It's going to happen. It's inevitable, right? I can't make it not happen. No amount of stressing over it's going to get me there, but I can enjoy her while I have her, and spend more time making sure that she can enjoy the last little bit too. Yeah, but she said something in the tarot reading about, oh boy, person with dogs, but we're down. Nope, we're up. Hey, dude. Okay, hopefully we're not. Nope, oh, we looked. Leave it. Leave it. Oh, and apparently we're not practicing, we're not playing tennis, we're practicing driving. Cool. This is the go-to lot for that, apparently. So, yeah, she was talking about how there's something coming that will disconnect me the rest of the way, and make them have to deal with their own shit on their own threes. But yeah, the second one was talking about like heart opening stuff, and it's like, I've always felt really disconnected from my heart, right? And I've talked about that on here a lot. And I feel like that was intentional because of the situation I came into, right? So just like the toxic family dynamics all across the board. And oh, the van's leaving. But there's a dog and a baby being walked, so. No, leave it. Leave it. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. So I feel like that was largely like a big part of why I felt shut off in that area. And it always felt out of reach for me, and I think that was kind of the purpose of like the whole twin flame thing, was be to keep me focused on this idea of this thing, this love thing, despite the fact that my entire life has not shown me anything of actual love, except for my dogs, which there too is partly why I've been so attached to my dogs, I think. But like, I remember a lot of times throughout my life, I don't know how many times I've heard, I'm your mother, so I always love you, but I don't like you very much. It's like, the fact that you felt the need to say that suggests that you don't actually have love in there, right? And yeah, just the nature of all of the conversations, the statements that have been made throughout the years. And it's like, nope, that's not love. That's not love at all, and feeling like I'm somehow your obligation because you chose to bring me into the world in some kind of way. That doesn't mean you love somebody. And it definitely doesn't give you the right to treat them like shit. And yet here we are having to like navigate through this whole span of time, where that's basically been my life, right? I pulled these cards the other day from this Alana Fairchild Sacred Rebel Oracle deck. And one of them was talking about learning how to mother yourself and being able to love others. I was like, one of the things it said was something about being a shoulder to lean on when somebody needs it, but not taking some perverse satisfaction in their failures and all that stuff. It's like, there's way more of that shit out there than there is actually people taking care of other people. So far, we're working on changing that. But, that's kind of one of those collective things. As long as there are still so many in the collective that are caught up in the negative ways of being and trying to fixate on all the bad in the world to keep everything bad in the world, then, it's going to be a little bit of a tug of war for a while. But we're working on it. Everybody that does their own healing work and is putting forth the effort to heal so they at least don't perpetuate the bullshit is part of the solution, right? We're part of the collective healing that is taking place and making it so people aren't just forever perpetually getting kicked when they're down. And a lot of times by their own families. Remember, I was in the Guard with this guy who we were washing dishes one day to clean up the armory before we all got to leave. We had final cleaning shit we had to get knocked out before we could go. And so I'm working with this guy on dishes, and he's talking to me about how his mom never taught him about deodorant. And I think he went into basic training getting made fun of because he stunk. But she never tried to teach him how to do the thing that would make him not stink and not get made fun of by other kids. It's like, dude, that sucks. The fact that there are people out there that, thrive on kicking other people when they're down, especially when it's their freaking offspring. And I think that's a big part of why I had to be in that freaking marriage from hell, because I saw a whole lot of that on both sides, and that kid, I felt sorry for him. And honestly, he was probably the biggest reason I chose to stick around as long as I did, because I was wanting to help him. And while I don't think it was... The kid had two shitty parents. End of story, on that end. But his father seemed slightly like the lesser of the evils, because at least his father was so worried about his own, or how he appeared to the judge or whoever. So if the judge said the kid had to be in therapy, then he was going to be in therapy. And knowing that it looked really bad when she popped him into different therapists all the time, I think there's a good chance he probably got to stick with the one. He might not have stuck with that one after I told the therapist why I was leaving. And yeah, all that fun stuff. But I don't know. I just hope that that kid had has the opportunity to choose better for himself, because at least I could demonstrate that a little bit, and in spite of getting pulled along with a bunch of bullshit along the process, I still hope that I served a good enough lesson for him. First off, that it's not okay to treat people like shit all the time, because I did finally leave his dad because he was treating me like shit. And also the fact that he doesn't have to turn out like his parents. Just because his parents are assholes doesn't mean he's forever stuck with being an asshole, and he's just doomed to be an asshole too. So only time will tell, I guess. But yeah. Anyway, I think I'm going to wrap this up so I can skate and enjoy this weather some, and maybe see how Gidge does being skated. It's not going to go well leaving the other two at home, but hopefully it does not result in somebody peeing on my bed. No more spite peeing, zibbity. Yeah. It's really... just cruising the parking lot now. Oh, yesterday when I was skating, I was around the intermediate school, and in the parking lot there was a car that had 888 on the license plate. It's like, there's my numbers. It's like I knew there was one around here somewhere, and there was that 111 that I'd seen when we were walking. Of course, New Beginnings, and I don't remember what 8s are. I just think of, infinity for one thing, but think of, yeah. I don't know. Anyway, I also kind of got to pee, to be honest, so I guess I'll just wrap it up. As always, I appreciate you. Until the next time. See ya.